Then as the city roars, tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal, feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal, feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Early edition of the show, but welcome to the show anyway. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Turnipole, and as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is sponsored by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It's been raining like crazy, so once it stops raining, your grass is going to be 2 feet tall. You might not want to cut it. Maybe you got a landscaping job you don't want to do. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. You got paper patio you want to get done. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. A retaining wall. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Give them a call there at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. And when you call them or check them out on Facebook, tell them Ice sent you. What is up to everybody in the chat? We don't have that many people in there today at it being 11 o'clock a.m., but we got Stranger in there. He's always in there. But we got the Reds on a 27-inning scoreless streak. Unbelievable. They go from scoring 14 runs in one game to where I thought we're like, all right, let's go to winning streak to bupkis. Nada. Zip. Zilch. I don't know what's going on. But let's get to the man who might be able to give us some explanation of what the hell is going on with the Reds offense. He's Local 12's Richard Skinner. What's up, Skinny?
How we doing, Ice?
Well, I'm a little better than 27 scoreless innings. We get a run here or two that would help me out a little bit. What the hell is going on with these guys?
Well, I think, unfortunately, it was more hope than planned this offseason, and I fell for it a little bit myself. I still want to see Christian Encarnacion strain over 162 games.
Yeah.
I needed to see what that looks like, so I'm not giving up on him by any stretch of the imagination. But look, I think the excuse for Jake Fraley last year was legit. He had some off-field problems with right. His daughter's health, and that took a toll. And that was the reason for supposedly the power drop-off. But if you really look at his career, he's nothing more than a fourth outfielder at best. And I think they thought, no, we're going to get the Jake Fraley of 2023. Unfortunately, that's 2 years removed at a more advanced age where you suddenly – I mean, look at a lot of people's career apex. Not everybody. But, your power primes, your mid-20s to your late 20s, maybe touch early 30s, and then you start going over the hill. Just go to Baseball Reference and look at any guy other than Barry Bonds who was using stuff at age 45 or whatever it was. But, I mean, yeah, right. Most players do. It's just a natural part of life.
Right.
And so really, if you thought Jake Fraley was going to be the 2023 version or better, I think you were more hope than plan there. I did believe, and I still believe TJ Friedel's more of a 275-ish hitter with a 340 on base, and that's all well and good. But you really have no answer at third base. Jeimer Candelario's at an advanced stage where, again, he's on that bottom apex of it. It didn't help that Tyler Stevenson got hurt. And I don't know where the answers are, because if you look at Louisville, there are some guys that have been up here are really hitting well. Noelvi Marte's hitting. Will Benson's hitting. Reese Hines is hitting. But then my fear with guys like that is, are they just 4A players, right?
Right.
I mean, they just are never going to be a consistent everyday major leaguer. So I don't know what the answers are at this point. I mean, other than you are hoping. And, I know the conversation of trading for Luis Robert or Robert on the offseason from the White Sox was there, and I wasn't all in on that. I'm still not. I don't know where the answer is, and that's the unfortunate part is we're a week into this baseball season. I don't think anybody knows what the answers are, and I'm going to guess the Reds management doesn't know what the answers are either, or else they would have done something about it this offseason.
Right. And the thing is, we're wasting really good freaking pitching. I mean, the pitchers are pitching their asses off.
Great.
Even the bullpen. That's the frustrating part is that it keeps coming down to one inning. Like last night, I had a little error. Ellie had an error or whatever. That didn't lead to the run, but that started them.
Yeah.
Started that inning to get the one run. And it's always like one inning, six starting pitchers. Like the starting pitchers have got to go out there and pitch a perfect game right now, which is you can't do that. Like they're pitching good enough, but they're not going to pitch a perfect game every single game.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing you could hope for is the pitching continues at this level, and it's not going to require you to score 5, 6, 7 runs to win games. You're only going to have to find a way to get 3. I mean, right now they can't find a way to get 1, as we all know. But I mean, this feels like a statistical anomaly more than anything else. So can you start finding ways to get 2, 3, 4 runs? I think on most nights that's going to be enough because I do think the one thing I think you can hang your hat on is the pitching. I mean, probably the 2 worst outings are clearly the Ian Jabot opening day relief outing, and then Nick Martinez's outing, and that was really more one inning than anything. He pitched great up until the inning that he gave up the 4 runs, and I believe in Nick Martinez. So yeah, I think that's the one thing you can hang your hat on. The other positive I think is the depth of the pitching. That if somebody gets hurt, Andrew Abbott's made a relief or made a start in the minors. Rhett Lauder's going to eventually be back. Chase Petty's pitching at AAA. Last year's first round pick Chase Burns was really electric in the 1 inning he pitched in spring training. He's going to start at high A, and if he follows the track at Lauder, it'll be high A, Chattanooga for a while, maybe a starter 2 or 3 or 5 at Louisville, and probably up here by August or September if you need him. So I think that's the other positive. And maybe the part of that is if you figure out a way to snap back into this a little bit, and I think you can, and find just enough offense, you have maybe some chips to play with, especially from a pitching perspective at the trade deadline, to go get the bat that you need.
Right. And this is putting a lot of pressure on Ellie and Matt McClain. I did a show earlier this week, and I said Ellie and Matty Bats are our version of Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Reds because those are 2 of the best players in baseball. Ellie could be, eventually the best player in baseball. But if those 2 aren't hitting, which they were when we were at the beginning of the season, now last 3 they haven't been hitting, we're in trouble. If TJ Frito, Matt McClain, and Ellie, the top 3 are not doing anything, it's really hard to score. And I'm with you on CES. That's the one that's kind of disappointing me because I was banging a drum for CES all offseason that I think he could be, 25, 30 homer guy, which I do too. I still think that, but we haven't seen it. Like when he hit that opposite field homer in what game was it? Game 2, he hit it the right field.
Yeah,
that's what I think he can do, and we just need a consistent basis out of it. If he can do that consistently, that's going to help this offense a ton. But again, like you said, they're not going to. This offense isn't going to be this bad all the time. They're eventually going to start coming around. They're not going to score 14 runs, but like you said, they score 3 or 4, and that's really all they really need to do. They could consistently score 3 or 4 runs a game. So this pitching staff, you're going to win a lot of games like that. They just got to start getting on base and making contact. It's like even like when they're getting runners on base last night, it was a fly ball to left field, fly ball to center field. It wasn't any hard contact. That's the part that's frustrating to me.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, is, look, Gavin Lux hit 8th or 9th in the Dodgers lineup, and he's batting cleanup for these guys. I mean, there's your big differential there. I mean, he does not need to get 500 at-bats this year. Jamer doesn't need to get 500 at-bats this year. I mean, at the point of that, honestly, bring me back Will Benson, bring me back Noel De Marte, bring me back Reese Hines, and let me see what I got in those guys over a full season. If that's where we're at with this, let's just do that and then turn the page on it. I was duped into believing, and I still do. I still believe in this team, believe it or not.
I do too. I mean, I haven't given up on them yet.
But that being said, and I saw a tweet on this the other day, and I think it's a good one. We always jump to extremes early in seasons, both good and bad. We do. It's just what we do, right? I mean, if the Reds were 6-2 and we would think they were going to win the World Series,
we're going to World Series, baby.
Yeah. So we do. We all jump to extremes.
Right.
So small sample size, but I did see this, and I can't remember who it was, and it was kind of talking about guys like Fraley and Candelario, and Friedel. This isn't just a 6 or 7 game sample size. This is a 169 game sample size. This goes back to even last. I mean, you are what you are eventually, and what some of these guys are either middling to less than middling players, and that's a problem. And that's the other part you talk about wasting. You're not just wasting the pitching. You're wasting some prime years of Ellie and Matt McLean. I hate to tell people this. They're not going to be here long term, folks. I mean, they're just not.
That's my point to my show. I did that the other day. Is Ellie and Matt there? We might be able to keep Matt, maybe. There's no Ellie's going to be $1 billion player. I mean, I like, and I'm not trying to be all down and dreary, but the Reds aren't going to pay him that much money. He could be the first $1 billion player for baseball. The thing is, this is their prime years, and that's why I thought they fired David Bell to get the Tito in here, but then they didn't really back it up with the offseason. I mean, they made some moves, but nothing big. Like, oh, all right, we are all in. We're, it's like, that's all right. It could work. We'll have to see what happens. And that's kind of where we're at. And that's the thing with me. It's like, we got Ellie and we got Matt McLean, two of the best players in baseball. They're both not going to be here very long. The win time is now. It's like the Bengals. They got Joe, Jamar, and T locked up for to the end of this decade. It's time to win now. The Reds got Matt and Ellie to the end of this decade. It's time to win now. And that's what is kind of disappointing about this whole thing is I don't know if the Reds had that sense of urgency that I thought they did when they fired David Bell.
I don't think they do. And I think that's the disappointing part of it. It feels like it's Groundhog Day, and it's been that way for a while.
Right.
I mean, 2023, when those guys came up, was a great jolt, right? It perked everybody back up. It got you believing, okay, here are the pieces to a rebuild. And I believe that. I think there are some pieces to the rebuild. And you've got a nice young core, but you did nothing. You've done literally nothing to supplement it. I like the signing of Austin Hayes. I think it was a good roll of the dice, and I think he'll eventually provide some spark on the offense for this team. But that's not a huge signing. That's not a guy that's going to move the needle. That's a guy that at least gets you a middling level outfielder. That's fine because they don't have enough of those even. So, yeah, they've done really nothing to make you have faith that they know what they're doing or have a plan for what they're doing.
Yeah. And I think for the guys down the farm, Noe Marte, I still have not given up on him.
I haven't either.
I still think I really can't wait to see him back up here. I do think he potentially still could be the future third baseman of this team. I just think the whole PED thing last year and them rushing up here, I think it got to his head. He's trying too hard, and it sounds like he's hitting laser beams down in AAA right now. And Will Benson, he's down there hitting. But Will Benson and Hayes, those two, I don't know if they could do it in the major leagues. I mean, Will Benson did it for 1 year. The reason he got traded from Cleveland because he couldn't hit major league hit pitchers. Last year, he was up all year, and he could not hit it. Yeah, and I keep saying Hayes. Is that who you said? The other outfielder?
Yeah, the guy they signed from as a free agent. That's all.
Yeah, him. I like Hayes. I like that outfield. And just the projection that I saw, if he is healthy, he's back to his healthy years when he's in Baltimore. Projection is 28 homers a year. If he gives me 20 homers, that would be great. And with the ballpark, and that one, I think him getting hurt right before the season started also hurt this offense as well. So we got him that could come back. Marte could come back. I'm not really counting on Benson or anybody else. Stevenson, Stevenson coming back. So we got guys that can come back. But up until then, we got to get this offense going. And unfortunately, it's going to come down to 4 guys, I think. TJ Friedel, Matty Bats, Ellie De La Cruz, and CES. Those 4 have got to carry this team because beyond that, we don't have a whole lot. Jamer Candelario was not a good signing. It has not worked out. He has not been anywhere close to the batter they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, listen, I have no problem if they want to leave Marte down there until they feel comfortable. And
I'm not saying rush him up.
No, I'm with you. I know. But I think you're at the stage where give him a month, and if he still's raking at Louisville in a month, he's your third baseman. And enough with Jamer Candelario at bats. I think at that point, let's just see what we got over a full season with these guys. And to your point of last year, I don't know why they rushed him up. There was no reason to rush him up. Let him get a bunch of at bats at Louisville. Let him feel comfortable. Let him get back in. I will say, I did read a story in the spring that they apparently fixed his throwing mechanics, and that was an issue for him last year. And maybe that played with his. He's worried about his fielding when he's batting, and maybe now that that's fixed, that helps. So I'm with you. I wouldn't rush him this time around either. Just when you feel comfortable and you think that he's got enough under his belt that he's raking at AAA. There's no reason for him to be down there anymore. Let's do this. Then let's do this. But let's not waste a whole lot of time in making that decision.
Yeah, I think he could be. He's got the talent. I mean, you've seen it, and I can't believe that the PEDs don't. help you square up the ball like he was squaring it up. I mean, he was hitting line. Like, he wasn't a big power guy. He was hitting line drives when he first came up. So PEDs help, but I don't know if it helps you that much to where you just can't hit the ball anymore. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think that was. I honestly don't think that was the reason.
Yeah.
Why he played so well in 2023 when he came up. I think he is a good hitter. I think he's a good player. I think he had a season of his own making, and then a season of the Reds undoing him by, honestly, to your point, rushing him. I just don't. You weren't in a pennant race. You weren't in a playoff race. There was nothing. Just get him ready. I mean, let him get himself ready, and they never really did that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I was afraid they were going to rush Matt McClain back last year. I'm like, don't rush him. I was like, just let him. I was fine with letting him heal up the whole season. And that's what I wish they would do with Marte. Just bring him up slowly, because Marte couldn't be up to what I think it was August by the time he was
correct. Yeah,
we were out of it. I mean, there's no. That's why he had. Did he have any at bats in the minor leagues before?
Yeah, but it was very, very minimal. I don't have it in front of me. I think
it was like less than a week. I mean,
it was like 19, 20 something like that. It wasn't very many.
No, that's why I was like, why? It never made any sense to me. I mean, if we're in a pennant race and we need a third baseman, I can understand, but we weren't. So, but with that being said, back to the pitching. This has got to be one of the best starting pitching staffs I've seen from the start. The 5 rotation we got right now that I've seen, and I don't know, 2012 probably.
Go back to the Cueto, Matt Latos, that group. That was a group that literally every night I think you thought you got a chance to win a game. I think with this pitching staff, I don't know if Brady Singer is going to do what he did the other night, but
that was a pretty good start though.
It was a damn good start. And listen, if he's the worst of the bunch, I think you're in a good place, and he might be the worst of the bunch, and so I think you are in a good place. And that's the thing, when you start doing pitching matchups on a nightly basis, does this guy give you a chance to win? I think that's what you've got literally every night is you got a chance to win because of the starting pitcher.
And I love it. Hopefully Lodolo stays healthy, because I have been so for him. People are like, oh, I've talked to people on this podcast like, oh, well, he can't stay healthy. Maybe we should put him in the bullpen. And I'm like, no, I said, but it's not his arm. It's a freaking blister. I mean, it was he's stupid that he could hopefully fix.
I like him every bit as much as Hunter Green. Hunter Green's more electric, by far more electric. But I think he's outstanding. But to your point, I mean, part of the thing is you got to stay healthy.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen this year. And Abbott, like you said, he's on the road to recovery. I think did he already make a start? Or?
Yeah, he made a start a couple of days ago, and
he's got another one.
Windy day, and I think he's got another one coming up soon this weekend.
So he'll be back up here, I think, pretty soon. So we have plenty of pitching, and that's the thing, Skinny. That's giving me hope that we can't turn this thing around, and it's baseball. You can go score 14 runs in one game and don't score any 3, and then turn around and take off and go on a winning streak. We've seen it before. It could happen, but we'll see what happens. Now, question here for you.
Yes.
Everybody was kind of freaking out yesterday about Katie Blackburn's comments.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to read a couple of them here. I got to get my get my glasses on here. But I want to read the ones. This is what Paul Danner had.
I got it. I know him. But go ahead.
Yeah. Wish there's a little more urgency, and it was moving faster. She said on Tuesday, I do believe the county would like to get something done. We just seem to be very slow at making it happen. And this is the one I liked. I'm a big proponent of being downtown. She said, I think it's a great location for the city. I think the location of the stadium right now is good. I think our stadium is obviously need to continue to be maintained approximately, and you want to keep it at a certain level. None of that to me sounds like, damn it, I want a brand new freaking stadium and we're moving the hell out of here. And that's what everybody kind of freaked out about. I was like, I don't know if that's, am I reading the tea leaves wrong? But I mean. No,
but she also had a comment of the following too. So, because I clipped about 4 or 5 of them out from my podcast yesterday, where she said, we could, I guess, and this is, so the big part of this is coming up the end of June, the Bengals can roll over the lease for 2 more years.
Right.
If not, that the lease expires on June 30th of 2026. So technically after the 2025 season. I think this was one of the quotes that's got people up in arms a little bit. She said that we could, I guess, go wherever we wanted after this year if we didn't pick the option up. That feels like a threat. I mean, and listen, I know how
I don't know what she said. Could I? I don't know. The way she said could, I guess. That's because they say they answer stuff weird, Skinny.
There's no question. There's no doubt about that part of it. And I think the thing that is extremely hypocritical is the one you showed earlier. We wish there was a little more urgency. Right. Well, I think fans were wishing for a little more urgency in signing some of the guys that you took your time signing. That feels very hypocritical to me.
Exactly. I mean, I said the same thing. I said the Bengals are not in a hurry to sign Jamar. They like making it cost themselves more money. They're not in a hurry to sign Trey, but they want the city to hurry up and get this signed. Which I mean, it could be. Hell, I'm not in negotiation. Hell, it could be It could be both sides of dragging their feet. I don't freaking know.
Well, I would say this. I know the part of her talking about staying downtown was the question was asked of, if Northern Kentucky offered them, land and a place to build a stadium, maybe Warren County. That
Right.
I think that's the part of it. So the whole fear of moving may not be moving cities, although that's still on the table. I mean, it
It's still an NFL franchise.
I don't think they will. I mean, the old man made his roots here. I mean, they came here 1966 to start the franchise. I mean, so he's firmly rooted here. She's firmly rooted here. And negotiations get contentious in all kinds of different ways. The counties up in our listen. Deadlines are usually what spark this, and I got a feeling come mid-June we'll have some level of the Bengals saying, all right, we'll roll the option over and we'll kick the can down the road a little bit. Maybe they don't. Maybe they say, listen, we're either going to do this thing or we are going to leave. We're going to open up our eyes and go, who wants us? Northern Kentucky, you want us? Warren County, do you want us? San Diego, do you want us? I don't think it's going to get to that. I just think this is the way negotiations go a lot of times.
And that's the thing is the Bengals always get it down to the breaking point, to the deadline.
And listen, so do county governments, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they do too.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
We got a county government that's going to drag its feet, and we've got a professional sports franchise. That's
well, the thing is, the biggest thing they got to figure out who the hell's going to pay for it. Because, like I said, I've said this a couple times. My brother, God love him, will not, and I repeat, will not vote yes on any raising of his taxes.
I don't think it would pass this time around. As much fervor as there is for what this team is at this point, which is a Super Bowl contender, I'm not sure it would pass this time around. I really don't.
Well, the thing is, and I don't know, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Maybe I should have, but FC Cincinnati, they got that all built without taxpayer money, right? I know it's a lot smaller stadium, but it's still a brand new freaking stadium.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
So, I mean, it can be done. Now, I know people talked about putting a dome on it. I don't think the Bengals care if they put a dome on it. It'd be better for the city, I think, if they put a dome on it.
Well, and that's the other part to it. So let's just assume, for argument's sake, that they don't come to terms on this, and Northern Kentucky says, you know what, we're going to build you a stadium, or wherever, somewhere locally. But so they're staying local; they're just not staying downtown. Right. But at that point, if you don't knock that whole thing down and build an arena, at that point, you're just stupid.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're stuck with an empty stadium. What the hell else would you do with it? So, but I mean, I like I said, I don't. I know people on the chat the other day talked a lot about a dome. I don't think a dome is going on there. I don't. I mean, like I said, for football reasons, I don't want a dome, but I understand for the city, that would be great for the city. You can get the RNC, the DNC, WrestleMania, NCAA. You get a lot of stuff. You get a lot of stuff. You get so for the city, we need
an arena. There's no question.
Yes,
we need an arena.
Now, with that being said, with the arena there, and I know they're rebuilding the convention center now, and they've talked about a couple of different spots. One down by FC Cincinnati, one close to where they're building the redoing the not Coliseum, the convention center. I'll get it right here.
Yeah,
and then obviously in this part we have now, where the Coliseum is now.
Yeah.
What are you hearing? Is there been any movement on this at all?
No, because again, it comes down to who's going to fund this, right? That's where we're at with all this. You're not going to put something on the ballot. Taxpayers are not going to pay for this. They're wrung out on all of this stuff. So, I mean, if you found somebody that was interested in bringing, and it probably needs to have a permanent tenant of some kind.
Yeah.
No offense to the Cyclones, it's not a minor league hockey team, and I don't mean that to sound derogatory. But it would have to probably be a major league team with major league pockets of some kind. So that would be NHL or NBA.
Yeah, we had the NHL commissioner last year mentioned Cincinnati as expansion, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's not going to happen." Like, well, he said it.
Yeah, he did say it.
I mean, he didn't. He wasn't.
Listen, I never would have believed professional soccer would come to town and succeed, and it's succeeded beyond anybody's wildest dreams, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought we had a better shot of hockey or basketball than soccer, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, I would have thought probably more hockey because of the Cyclones.
Yep.
What we had there, but I don't know if the NHL would put one here because the Blue Jackets are so close.
They are. The only thing I would say though is, listen, a lot of times why expansion happens is the expansion fees that clubs pay, and that lines other owners' pockets. So hey. You know what? You want to line my pockets for a team, an hour and a half away. Listen, it's worked out fine in the soccer realm. It's become a rivalry. It would become a rivalry in hockey as well. I don't think that would stop it. I think it's a matter of, is there an ownership group that has enough deep pockets to build an arena and run a franchise?
Yeah, I mean, it's all fun to talk about, but I mean, none of this is even close to happening.
No.
So it's not anytime soon.
Now, again, the lease option is close. I mean,
that part, yes.
June 30th. June 30th is it's going to be like this, and it'll be June 30th.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is I'm with you. I think they're going to take the option and kick the can down the road and keep negotiating because that just seems like the Bengals' way to do things. Speaking of kicking things down the road, Trey Henderson went on Pat McAfee, and he's basically said the same stuff he's been saying. He wants this resolved. He doesn't want to play this year on this contract. He either wants to be here and with an extension, or he wants to be somewhere else with an extension. Where are you at? I keep thinking because I heard the trade was off the table.
Yep.
I still think the Bengals are going to sign him. Somebody told me he turned down a $32 million contract. He also said he doesn't have to be the highest paid player. Where are we at on this thing? Are we anywhere closer to getting him signed or what?
We're not closer. Listen, I don't point a finger at either side in this, and I'll give you both arguments. Okay. Listen, he's not going to get Myles Garrett money. He knows that part. No, but listen, the Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter contracts are just silly money in my opinion. Those two.
That's what I said.
35 mil a piece. So that technically would tell you that's where the market is, right?
Yeah.
But the Bengals aren't going to sign Trey Henderson at this age for $35 million. I don't think they'd sign for 32. I would tell you, I think around 30 would be a sweet spot. Anything under 30, I can't blame Trey's camp for turning it down. Anything above 30, I'm not sure if I'm the Bengals, I'm going to offer that. I know that people want him signed because of what he's done, right? Like he's done these things and he's been underpaid doing them. Okay, maybe he has, and I'm going to get to that point in a minute. But I'm also, when you're paying an extension, you are paying for what you believe future production is going to be.
Right.
And listen, Trey Henderson might play till he's 40 years old for all I know. He's a physical marvel. He's in great shape. He works at his craft. He works at his body. Yeah. But yeah, I've seen it happen, man. I would have told you AJ Green was going to play till he's 45, and then suddenly that one injury hit in his 30s, and off the charts goes AJ Green. He was never the same player. Yep. Geno Atkins, he fell off planet Earth all of a sudden when I still thought he had another 3 to 5 years of his prime left. Again, everybody's different, so I can't. But again, you have to weigh that if you're the Bengals, and so I know that when the market got set at a place. I'm sorry for that, Trey. It got set at that price. And for those arguing, well, you should have signed him back in January when you had a chance. Let me just tell you this. And this is where I'm at with Trey Henderson. And this is where I can point the finger at the Bengals if they're going under 30. I can point the finger at Trey if he's going an exorbitant number above 30, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because so you should have signed him in January because you could have paid him 27, 28 mil. Okay. Right. Then the market got reset, right? And so what do you think Trey Henderson was going to do after that market got set? Bitch about one another. Exactly. He did it this last time. He signed an extension 2 years ago, as we recall. And remember last year, right before the draft, the story of, well, I'm going to retire. I've got enough money. And then he quickly backpedaled on that and said, well, I didn't mean that. I want to still play. Well, man, here's the options for me. If I'm the Bengals and it's lower than 30, then shame on you. If he wants more than that, I would say at this point, my guy, you're under contract for 2025. You signed the contract. We're going to hold you accountable for the contract. And for those that say Trey's not going to play, well, if Trey doesn't play, here's the thing. If he doesn't play, is somebody going to sign a guy who didn't show production this year to an exorbitant contract at age 32? Are they really going to do? He's going to have to play well this year to get money in free agency. And I think that's where we're at. He can kick and scream and cry about it, sit out. Listen, if he sits out camp, who cares? He's a defensive end. He takes care of himself. He's going to be in tip-top shape. All you got to do on day one of the regular season, he's not going to miss a game check, is go, Trey, put your hand in the dirt to go get the quarterback. I mean, you don't need training camp for that. It'd be nice if you're there, sure. If he wants to stand on the sideline, I'm fine with it. I think at this point, again, if the Bengals are offering less than 30, then shame on them. If Trey's asking for an exorbitant price close to what the market is, I just can't do it at this age. And I'm sorry that the Raiders were dumb. I'm sorry that the Texans were dumb. I'm sorry that the Browns were dumb. That doesn't mean we have to be dumb because I don't want to be tied into, let's just use an average bar, $70 million, 50 of it guaranteed in a guy at this age. I just don't, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that.
I'm glad you're saying the Raiders are dumb because that's what I said. I'm like, why in the hell? I mean, Max Crosby is a really good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not set the market highest paid non-quarterback player.
It's insane.
I'm like, what? That's what I said. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I'm like,
and I'm not as much as I think Myles Garrett is the best defensive end in the NFL, and that includes being better than Trey. He's not $40 million good. I mean, at this age,
he's worth it more than Max Crosby.
Oh no, no question. But I mean, for them to pay that money to, again, Myles is at an advanced age too. That okay, man, you've tied yourself up into a guy. And listen, I think defensive end is an important position. I mean, if you're rating position groups, it's quarterback, it's probably left tackle, it's probably wide receiver / corner, and then it's defensive end. So that's the 5th most important position. And listen, I get the whole, well, if you take him off this defense, what do you have? Understood. I fully understand that. I'm going to go sign a veteran free agent. Darius Smith's still out there. He's not going to be Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to draft somebody. Maybe he becomes Trey Hendrickson. And then I'll address this next offseason if Trey doesn't want to play. That's the thing. You have him under contract. You have him right now. I'm not giving him away in a trade. They obviously decided not to do that. Again, depending on where the money is, I can't afford to extend him at a certain stage because I choose not to extend him at that stage of the game. I got him for this year. When he's gone after this year, we're going to address it in the draft. There's a bunch of edge rushers in this draft. That's our future hope. And then if I have to go into free agency to get a guy next year, that's what I'll do. And so I think we're at the stage where Trey can keep complaining about this all he wants. That's his right and his prerogative. But it's going to fall on deaf ears eventually. And then are you really gonna not play? Are you really gonna not play? Listen, I'm gonna call his bluff because he bluffed on this last year. I'd like to sit at a poker table with Trey because I call his bluff every time. I call his bluff here and go, okay, well, listen, we can't come to terms on an extension.
Right.
Sucks we can't. Wish we could have. Again, if the Bengals are lowballing here, then shame on them. And I thought they hit the sweet spot on T. I thought anything below 27 mil was a low ball. Anything above 30 and above was probably too rich for their blood. They settled on 28 and change. Great. So I think they settled right where the market should have been for a guy like that. We can argue all the merits of a number 2 receiver getting that stuff, but bottom line is that fell into a sweet spot.
Yeah.
If this falls into a sweet spot, I think you get it done. I just don't know where that sweet spot is.
Yeah, I think, and that's where the thing is too, is I don't think Trey wants the security. And if they come close, which I think I think what you said, they're going to come into the sweet spot, wherever that is. I think they're going to come close, and Trey's going to be like, all right, because the other thing is, all right, like you said, say Trey comes in and that's what I said. If he sits out, he's going to be 31, you're going to miss games, and then you're going to try to get somebody to give you more money. He's going to have to come out here and perform, and that's going to be in the back of his mind too.
You also would have pissed away this year's money of 17 mil. Now again, you can always do the old, I got an owie. Well, okay, if you got an owie that cost you 17 games, then teams are going to go, has he got injury issues?
Well, the other thing too is he's 31. They like it here. If they come close to it, he'll have that security. He'll have that all that stuff that he wants. So I think it's going to happen because I hate to say Trey's going to cave. I think Trey's going to cave because the funny thing is where he should have fired his agent 2 years ago when he signed that extension. That's what screwed Trey to get the big money. He signed that extension to them, and then he wanted, to renegotiate. It's like, no, you can't. You're signed. And I don't even think legally, am I right on this? Legally, through the players, he could renegotiate that contract because it had to be there for at least a year, I think.
I mean, if you get an extension, what's going to happen is they'll extend onto this, but you'll also get signing bonus money up front that can get prorated, and that's going to give them a quick big boost too. Yeah.
So like I said, I think it's going to happen, and it's at this point, I kind of wish Trey and KD would just stop talking to the media.
Well, the other great line KD had, which again smacks of a little bit of irony, was, I don't know if I've got that one saved or not, and I'm going to probably have to paraphrase. Let me see if I got that one. I got it. And this is talking about Trey. I think he should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. I think some of it's on him to be happy at some point, and if he's not, that's what holds it up sometimes. It takes him to say yes to something, and also we have all the respect in the world for him. So the bottom line is I think they feel like they're at a certain rate. Now, the richness of that sounds like, well, shouldn't you come to the certain rates that you're happy at with the county? I mean,
right, exactly. Do you hear yourself?
Yeah, the irony of it is, but to me, it seems like they think they've made a fair market offer. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they've lowballed him here. Yeah. But I think that tells me that they're not going to go to the Crosby level, and I don't think they should. I'm sorry, I don't. I think he's a better player than Crosby. He's a better player than Danielle Hunter. I just don't think that's the realm they can go to, nor should they go to. But if that rate, like I said, is somewhere in the 30 ballpark,
if they come in at 30 and Trey balks at that, I'd be surprised. I first said after Crosby's, I'm like, well, I think he might be between 30 and 35. Now I'm more coming back down. I think it's more like 27 to 30 mark, somewhere around there. That to me, that's the sweet spot. Somewhere in between there is where I think Trey will probably be, and he should be happy. And the thing is,
and here's the thing. There's really, other than him balking about not playing, there's no sense of urgency to get this done. There really isn't, other than you're trying to make the guy happy, I guess. And I know that's what fans want. I understand that. But again, he is under contract for this season. He is expected to play this season. Then, if I can't come to the terms, I'm going to let you play it out and go to free agency, my guy. Or if I really want to be an ass about it, I could franchise tag your ass next year too, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of doesn't have, he doesn't have any leverage.
He doesn't. Honestly, I don't think he really does.
Nah, for me as a fan, one thing I loved that they got T and Jamar signed. We don't have to talk about that anymore. That they can come to camp and be happy.
Correct.
That's what I want with Trey. If we are going to put all of our eggs to fix this defense on Al Golden and 6 draft picks, I want Trey Hendrickson happy. That's me, and that's where I think the Bengals should, because which I want to ask you about.
Or you want Trey Hendrickson playing at his max? Hey, if you're playing on this 1 year, man, you're going to have to ball out again to get paid. If suddenly he plays 17 games this year and pouts about it and doesn't, give max, I don't believe that would happen. I think he's too much of a
but he won't get any money.
But if let's just say his production falls off to 8.5 sacks, 9 sacks, whatever it is, and less quarterback pressures, you're not going to get paid. And I get that's where you gotta gauge the to your point, the security of a 2-year extension.
Right.
That's listen, I'm paid up whether I produce or not. And again, at that point, hopefully he continues to produce. I think he's holding right now. He's holding a 3, a 7, a 9, a jack, and a king. And I'm drawn to a full house with 2 pair in my hands. I'm going to call your bluff, dude.
Now, one thing I wish the Bengals would not try to call somebody's bluff, or I don't know what the hell they're doing, but this situation with their guards or lack thereof. Right now, you got the guy from the Saints we signed, which
Lucas Patrick.
Thank you. And you got Cody Ford or Cordell Volson at the other one.
Yep.
I'm not happy with that. I don't know what the hell they're thinking here.
I know Zach talked at the owners' meeting about addressing this perhaps after the draft, which tends to lean me to think that they're going to try to draft a guard high. I don't think first round high, but at least second or third round high.
Yeah.
That they feel can plug and play as a rookie. That's a big ask.
Yeah. How's that worked out for him?
And he did say that, listen, we'll assess this after the draft. There's still a couple of guards out there. Brandon Scherf's still out there. I think Dalton Risner's still out there. But it also tells me that those guys are still out there for a reason, right?
Right.
So I'm not sure what can be done to address it at this point. If you're not comfortable in that at this moment, and maybe you have to be comfortable with it after the draft, then so be it. I do think there's a plan there. It's just not crystallized, because you'd like it to be etched in stone right now at the moment, other than having Lucas Patrick be one guard and either Cody Ford, Cordell Volson be the other guard.
Yeah,
I do know this. I think they believe that the new offensive line coach can make Cordell a better player. He believes in Cordell.
They're putting an awful lot of pressure on 2 coaches.
Yes, they
Al
are.
Golden and the new offensive line coach. They're putting awful. They're expecting an awful lot out, because right now Al Golden has exact same defense right now,
other than a couple of guys, other than and TJ Slayton.
Yeah, that's it. It's exact same. He at least has a nose guard. We didn't have one of them last year. At least he has that.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I did a couple of mock drafts this week. I'm actually doing one today. There's a really, I like it. There's a simulator, NFL Draft Buzz, where you can trade your own current players, and they use the Jimmy Johnson trade chart, so you can game the system. It's a freaking simulator, for goodness sakes. But the one I'm doing today, I'm trading Trey. And the value I got back actually was a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round pick from the Lions. And then I went out and signed a couple of guys. I drafted a kid. I was able to draft the safety high. So that because safety has to be addressed. You mentioned guard. Guard is there's no question. Safety also has to be addressed. You can't go in the season with just Geno Stone and Jordan Battle. Now I do know Al spoke highly of Jordan at the combine when we talked to him. He mentioned Geno. This is a good place to start for us in that room, which again leads me to believe they're looking to add to that room, either again through the draft, through free agency still, or both. And so,
Alex is guy from Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was funny. The other day, I did the first one. I did just kept the 6 picks. Just that this is what they're going to have. This is where I'm going to go with it. And I was able to take Xavier Watts in the 2nd round. Then I did one where I accepted a trade from a team. I ended up taking a safety from South Carolina in the 1st round, edge rusher in the 2nd round. The first one I did was edge rusher 1st round, safety 2nd round. Both times it was weird. I didn't get to guard until the 5th round, which again, that's where, okay, that's a nice body to add to the mix, and that's a hope. And if that's the case, then you're going to have to go sign a veteran. You're just going to have to.
But what scares me is I think the Bengals think they can find a starting guard in the 5th round.
Maybe.
I mean, what you might be able to, but that's not something to bank on.
No,
and
I guess that's where Lucas Patrick fits in. That if it's that guy that you're hoping can plug and play as a 4th or 5th rounder, and maybe he's not quite ready, well, you got a guy who is.
Right.
And right or wrong, they don't put value in guard. I'm not sure that's a correct way to go, but they just don't.
Which, at least a little bit. I mean, Cody Ford, I thought had a good year last year.
He did. I thought in the role he had, I thought he had a really good. I thought that was a good re-signing.
But I like him as a backup. I don't really want him to start. I mean,
17 games of Cody Ford, I don't think would be good.
Right. I mean, if you had Scherf on one side and Cody Ford on the other side, I'd be okay with that. Now, it's still not what I want. But if you got Cody Ford and whoever else on the other side, I really don't want that. That's what scares me.
I will tell you this, and again, it's not right or wrong. I know they like Jackson Kirkland, who got hurt last year, and maybe they think he's a guy that can be a plug-in. So I don't know. At this point, I'm just going to hold my breath and see what it looks like. At the moment, if you're a fan, I get it. It doesn't look swell. There's no question about that.
No, our boy Trags, he told me that about 3 weeks ago. I was like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, they like Kirkland a lot.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
Right. And I hope they're right. I mean, I don't want them to be wrong. I hope they are right because our tackles and our center are fine as long as they all stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think Cody's a good swing tackle option. I thought he did a good job last year when he was in that role. So no, I'm with you.
Now, what do you think the chances are? Because the guy I've got my heart set on at 17 is Walter Nolan. What's your gut?
I don't think they go tackle that early because I think they feel like right now they got 4 tackles. They got B.J. Hill, you got McKinley Jackson, you got Chris Jenkins, you got
but none of them are like up pass rushers. Like Nolan.
Agreed. I just don't know if you spend pick 17 on that. I think if you're doing it, you're going either safety or edge. I mean,
so
the edge. I think the edge is in need whether you have Trey or not.
True. Yes. Yeah. On the other side. Yeah. Exactly. Because yes, we hope we get stuff out of Miles Murphy and Joseph's side, but you can't count on that. So if Green is there from Marshall, do you think they'd take him over Nolan?
He's got some red flags in his off-field stuff.
Who doesn't have red flags there?
Understood. Right, but the only thing is they've not taken many red flag guys in the Zach Taylor era. They've taken
last year.
Captains, right? That's what I was going to get to. Yeah. So they did last year. They knew the red flags. They knew the risk. They took the risk. They were willing to take the risk on the talent. And boy, did it backfire in a major way. Are you willing to do that again? And again, Green could be a completely different case, from a red flag perspective. And he is a different case from a red flag perspective. But you did it last year, and man, did that backfire in your face. Are you willing to do that again? I mean, the guy's tape just screams he's going to bend off the edge like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think he's clearly an interesting prospect. There's no doubt about that.
I keep going back to Senior Bowl practice where he just pancaked that one dude.
The tape doesn't lie for that guy. I mean, the traits don't lie for that guy. Again, the key factor is, are you willing to settle on the red flag issue? And maybe you are. Maybe you've done your investigation too. Maybe they didn't do enough homework on Jermaine to realize what just a troubled kid that is.
So at 17, like Nolan's even got red flags. You got the kid from Tennessee,
Pierce.
Yeah, he's got red flag. I mean, a lot of guys that they're talking about that they think will be there around 17. Most of them got red flags.
Yeah, I've gotten lucky, and I've done some mocks just for the heck of it. But I've only written 2, and I'm about to write, as I mentioned, the 3rd today. I've gotten Michael Williams from Georgia, but a lot of mocks I've seen from other places is he's gone by then. I mean, that's the thing. The simulator is fun because you play with it, but it's like, man, every mock's got this dude gone. I mean, I'm trying to stay true to the simulator. I mean, he's on the board. There he is. I can't not take him. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Maybe he's the guy you pinpoint and you just cross your fingers and hope he's there. Listen, Walter Nolan's a great player. There's no doubt about that. I like him. And to your point, I did add a pass rushing or a defensive tackle with some pass rush skills in the 4th round, a kid from Kentucky, Deion Walker, who did not have a very good year this past year, but was great 2 years ago. I think this past year he got sucked in by so much negativity on that football team. And honestly, he gets double teamed on every play. And I think he just stopped trying. I think he's got a lot of talent and ability. But yeah, I think to your point, Slayton's not a pass rusher. I mean, he's got 2 career sacks. You're hoping he's a one-down guy that, gets you into 2nd and 11s, 2nd and 9s,
right?
And then get him off the field. I think B.J. Hill and Chris Jenkins can rotate and get you 6 sacks, maybe 8, something like that.
That's the thing. You got to rotate.
So who's the other? Who's the other? And then who's the other tackle to rush the passer? That's the key. McKinley Jackson's not a pass rusher. TJ's not a pass rusher, and maybe they think Jenkins and Hill can be your third down pass rushers together. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, BJ now he's a couple years older. When we had the Super Bowl run, and I keep telling had him and Larry O swapping that out. It was perfect because BJ does better when he has less snaps. Same thing. Doubt. I've said this about Trey Henderson. Trey Henderson does better when he has less snaps, which he hasn't been able to do that the last couple of years. So we haven't had because Miles Murphy and Joseph Ossai haven't stepped up, or they weren't given enough snaps. However you want to look at it.
No, right.
They got to try, even if Trey's here, they got to get some snaps off of him somehow because he is getting older and he's more effective in that aspect. Now they got 6 picks. Anthony Kazinza was on here and he talked to Dan Jeremiah, who's a MLB Network draft guy. And Dan Jeremiah's point of view, there are 24 starting defensive players in this draft. That bodes well for the Bengals because that's what we need, except for a guard. So
that's why I told you I went safety. I went edge safety in one, safety edge in the others, and then I went linebacker in the third round both times. So I went 3 defensive picks off the bat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there's going to be a guard in there somewhere, but I think it's going to be a mostly defensive draft.
Yep.
Can the Bengals still screw this up?
I guess and I guess I would do it with again if the red flags for green show up. I don't think they do. I don't, but I mean. It feels like edge rushers are guys that are hard to define sometimes too. Like, are you drafting off the tape or are you drafting off of the traits? I mean, there's and I'm drawing a line. It's a Stewart kid. There's 2 guys from Texas A&M, and I always get them confused. Yes. He had 1 sack last year, but everybody loves his tape, and it's like, okay, I guess I get that.
I like the production though.
Yeah, I'd like the production too, and that's the part for me is. What do you gauge? You gauge the production or you gauge the tape and the traits? Or I mean, using the traits and the athleticism. I think, unfortunately, they did that with Miles Murphy. I think Miles had some level of production, but for what his traits show, wasn't like top of the line production, in my opinion. I mean, you go back at his college numbers, he had sacks, but it wasn't like 15 where you're like, holy, this guy's just a dominant beast. It was more, he's got some great traits, really athletic. We think those will translate to the NFL, and they just haven't yet. Again, maybe to your point earlier, maybe some of it's lack of opportunity.
Yeah,
maybe
that's what I'm hoping.
He shines. You have to hope that.
Yeah. Now, the one I'm really expecting is Joseph Ossai. I really do think
he was good at the end of the year.
Yes, that's what gives me hope, Skinny. Because I was like, damn it! I was telling my son, I said he's going to freaking leave and he's going to go ball out somewhere. I said I can guarantee you that. Luckily, they signed it, which I was surprised they did not because of Joseph Ossai, because of David Mulligana. They actually got a contract done with him.
That's a good point.
So they one in a row. They got one done with him. So I'm hoping the big. I got a feeling that's gonna be a big year for Joseph Ossai. Hopefully Miles Murphy gets more snaps too.
Yeah, the other part for Joseph is it's only a 1-year deal, and that makes him have to prove it again.
Yep,
sometimes those guys on prove-it contracts, those are guys that ball out because they're trying to prove it for the next contract.
Yeah, exactly. So let's hope he does that, and the Bengals can re-sign him. Now I want to end this here with my my Bearcats. They were playing in the Crown, and first game I was like, you beat DePaul, which I mean they should have beat DePaul.
DePaul's terrible.
You, me, and a couple guys from Western Hills probably could have beat DePaul.
Olin Tangy Orange could maybe beat DePaul.
All right. I'm still a Wes Miller fan. I met the guy. I think he's a nice guy. But what the hell is up with his offense? He makes it so easy for them to defend people or to be defended because they just stay on the outside. They never post up. There was one time last night, somebody, I can't remember who it was. He had the ball down low, and he's looking, trying to pass somebody, and nobody is cutting to the basket. They're out there in the three-point line going, here. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Great question. I mean, his offensive concepts confound me, and I don't know what their identity is on offense. I mean, I think it was going to be let Jizzle create, and that's all well and good to some degree. But who's he creating to? I mean, Seamoss can't get open on his own. He's got to use screen action. You don't really have a lot of standstill great shooters other than him. You have no post presence. I mean, none. Bandego's fine on a tip dunk or on a lob, but he doesn't have any post-up game. Dylan Mitchell, I think, has some post-up game, but you got Aziz in there and Dylan at the same time, so who's the post-up guy? So didn't make much sense. And so the thing I'm interested to see, he's going to get one more year because they can't buy him out. I mean, in most cases, he would probably he would be gone. There's no question. In today's landscape, he would be gone. But so you're going to have one more year. I guess you got to cross your fingers and hope, and that's never a plan. That he has success in the portal. And here's the thing with it: they haven't done anything in the portal yet. And I guess I don't know if it's because the crown had some of your attention.
Right.
You haven't been able to land anybody for whatever reason. Maybe this new GM, Corey Evans, who was a scout in the NBA, and is very highly regarded. He used to work for 24/7, so he knows the recruiting landscape as well. That he can come in and help very quickly with this in the portal. Because listen, I don't think who's coming back on this current roster makes this a very good team. You need to add some stuff from the portal desperately.
Yeah, even with
I don't even know there could be guys on this team that today jump in the portal because they're out.
Right. Well, they got that number one recruit, top 5 recruit. I can't.
Yeah, Sean Abaya.
Thank you. Yeah, they got him, but he's not even a post-up player. He's he's
a wing. Yeah, but you need he's a scorer, and I will say that. But that's one guy.
But that's one guy. Yeah, exactly. And it's like we like Skinny. We got out rebounded. There was guys driving. This was driving me nuts. Driving right down the middle of our defense.
Well, that's what Aziz is supposed to stop.
But he was at the beginning of the season.
Know.
Now he's just like getting out of the way. It's like, what the? It was
business decisions, maybe.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I was so excited. We were 10-1, and then we hit the Big 12 and went.
Listen, after the non-conference, if you'd have told me UC wasn't going to make the NCAA tournament, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah.
But I thought you were just playing for seed at that point, and so that was the disappointing part of it. And again, then you start to look, and as games went on, you go, yeah, that team's roster is better. That team's roster is better. Now, not all of them were better. Some of the losses were ugly losses to teams whose roster was as good, if not better than.
I don't think Central Florida's roster is better.
They were missing at least one of their best players, if not maybe two of their top 3.
I think 2 were out because one of the guys is actually the white kid who was killing us. He's in the portal.
Yes, correct.
So he's not going to be on their team next year, but they let him play because they needed bodies. So
right.
We were. I think our roster was better than theirs, and they out toughed us and made shot after shot after shot, and out rebounded us. I mean, it was just.
And I think that's where we're at with this. Is you have to have a coach who understands the portal process, and how important that is. And I'm not. West feels more old school. I'm going to get my high school guys. I just don't think. I mean, listen, Sean Abayev can come in here next year, average 21 a game. If you're a UC fan, you hope he does.
Yeah.
And then go, who's the next biggest suitor going to give me more money? I'm going to. That's the landscape of today, man.
It is. Yeah. And I mean, surprisingly, last year nobody left. I mean, nobody big. I mean, Vic left, but he wasn't playing by the end of last year.
He did have a good year at Clemson.
He did. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could have used him this year.
You could have used that. The version of Victor Locken at Clemson certainly would have helped you.
Yes. Yeah. He. I don't. And sometimes maybe a change of scenery just helps guys and gets their confidence back. But that would have helped us out this year. But I'm not very confident on how either football or basketball is going to go for the Bearcats this year because you got Satterfield, and we need to win one game to get 6 wins and be bowl eligible. We lost the last 4.
Yeah, that was a shame too.
It's been very frustrating. And
I got it.
Now I got the Reds 27 scoreless inning streak. So I was like, oh my god.
Well, then we'll get to camp and you'll be seeing Trey stand on the sidelines in a ball cap. That'll add to it.
I hope not. Then you'll be reporting. Yeah. Skinny left. I saw his car leave like Jamar last year.
Yep.
All right, Skinny man, I appreciate it. Plug some stuff before I let you go, man.
All right, take care.
And plug some stuff before I let you go.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a couple of mock drafts up already. The one I'm doing today is I'm trading Trey. Don't get mad at me. I'm just doing it. It's a mock, so just keep in mind it's just a mock. I want to see what can be done if that takes place and what you can get in return. So all that at local12.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Skinny. See you, brother.
Take care.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It's an early morning here show. I do have another show today. I just getting Skinny on. Only time he can do it was 11 a.m. So appreciate all you guys watching. I do have show number 2 coming up today, and that'll be live at 5:30. It's going to be a very special show. I have former Cincinnati Bengal, who's been on my show before, Carl Pickens will be on, along with current Bengal and Bengal safety Tyson Anderson will be joining us live at 5:30. So also Bengals captain will be there. So it's going to be a very special, fun Football Friday show. We'll be talking some old school. We can have Carl and Tyson compare notes of how the Bengals were and how they are now. Anyway, we'll see. It'll be a lot of fun. Shout out to my sponsors of the show, and they are as follows. Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Want to get your grass cut, paper patio put down, leaves raked out, your flower beds mulched? Get Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Call it 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114 and tell them ICE sent you. Also, the show is brought to you by T Properties. Quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And the West Side peeps, go check out Hail Mary's right in the heart of Cheviot. It's your ticket to the game. They got big ass TV screen, beer specials, food trucks. It's an awesome, awesome place. Again, it's Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. Also, the show is brought to you by Meyer Windows and Doors. You can check them out at the website at MeyerCincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. Give you a free estimate, and you can check out the Jackpot Joey Mobile with the driver himself, Matty Myers. Meyer Windows and Doors, and more. And just let everybody know, we will be doing a draft show April 24th at Mount Lookout Tavern. Excuse me. Special guest will be Tyson Anderson, along with Bengals great David Fulcher will be joining us. We're going to be doing Bengals trivia here starting at 6 o'clock. The podcast starts at 7. Then the draft starts at 8. So come on down, drink some beer, enjoy some Bengal talk, find out who the hell they're going to draft at 17. And then the next day, do me a favor, get on over to the Fulling Warehouse for Project Game Day's draft fundraiser. It's in support of sending individuals with disabilities and military veterans to Bengals games. It's $30 per ticket. You got Fulling. You got Midwest Best Barbecue. You got Gold Star Chili. You got Bengals collectible raffles. Cincy pop-up show. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. April 25th, 6 p.m. till 11. If you want to buy tickets, you can Venmo them at Project Game Day or PayPal, projectgameday@gmail.com. Also, Jordan Battle's going to be there. So you got Tyson at mine, Jordan at theirs. It's going to be a great time. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. I will see you live tonight at 5:30. Just remember, I've got Tyson Anderson and Carl Pickens on the show. Thanks for watching my live stream on ZTV, YouTube, Facebook, X, Threads. You can follow me on all those along with Instagram, TikTok. I said Threads. Live stream on Twitch, not Threads. But anyway, you can follow me there too. Other than that, I'll see you guys back later today at 5:30. Remember, Houday for life. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
With 10 nights the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ices on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. TTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.